What's going on, guys? UFC 300. We made it. We finally made it. Let me make sure this is up on my channel. Hold up. Yep, we're good. What's going on, people? We made it. UFC 300. Let me get my chat opened up real quick. You know the vibes. Let me see, chat. All right, we made it, UFC 300. We're about an hour and a half away from the start of the prelims. Gonna give you guys a Fight Day stream. Not gonna be streaming during the card today, because it's more of a relax and chill type of card. Maybe take notes on it, on what happens, because I'm gonna do a stream tomorrow, reaction and recap, but let me just, I always get paranoid that I actually got my stream figured out. Let me see. Streaming during the card today, because it's more of a relax and chill type of card. All right, we're good. All right, guys, so today we have a few things on the docket before we get to UFC 300. I'm bridging that last hour or so gap until the prelims start. We got the new glove announcement. We're gonna react to that because I do have some thoughts on it. We have my reaction and thoughts on the weigh-ins and press conference. And then I'm gonna run through the card and give you guys my full predictions because I did the card for, or I did a few videos for the card. I did about 6 videos, I think, but there's still a few other fights on the card that I didn't do prediction videos on, so I'll give you my final thoughts on those and maybe see if my predictions changed a little bit last minute. So we're gonna start things off with, let me make sure I got it pulled up here. Cool. Alrighty, so the UFC new glove presentation. Now, something to keep in mind, these are not going to be in use on the card today for 300. The plan from what I have read and what I've seen is that UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey is going to be the official launch for these gloves, first time using them, which I told you guys in my stream the other day. I think that's gonna be Islam and Dustin Poirier. We might also get Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa on that card. Probably another lightweight fight, but it could be Charles. If Charles fucks around and gets a first round sub and doesn't take any damage, we could see Dustin and Charles, or no, I'm sorry, not Dustin and Charles, Islam and Charles rematch. But I am thinking that it's gonna be, especially with the things that Dustin has posted and with Islam and Dustin going back and forth on social media, that it is gonna be Dustin and Islam. Let me put this on my community tab real quick, guys, one sec. Hey, nothing's gonna change, nothing's gonna change what you've done to me. Alrighty, live on the community tab. Alrighty, guys. Oop, that's my community tab. Hold up. Showing you, let you guys see the behind the scenes a little too much. Might be. Okay, so this is the UFC new glove launch presentation, and they made like a whole 30-minute thing out of this. So I'm going to show you guys just the reveal for it, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on this.
The final product is something that we're extremely excited about. It is a glove that is really going to revolutionize the MMA fight glove space. Some of the changes you're going to see on the new glove are there are 0 seams around the hand. All of the seams are on the inside, so there's no place for a laceration to occur from a seam. The padding in the back of the hand has been broken into 2, and essentially the first pad and that break allow for the hand to have this movement, while the new layering technology and the main pad allows for the hands to move and be flexible. The layering system inside, foams are different foams. They allow for impact dispersion so that you're not getting as much impact in a singular spot on the knuckle. So you're seeing more distribution of the strike across the hand. There's pads.
It's funny because this lady is giving this presentation on the gloves, and it really seems like she doesn't know anything about fighting. And you'll see that in a sec. She calls championship fights championship rounds.
That are on the bone on the outside of either side of the hand. The new wristband is a curved ergonomic wristband, so it actually cinches down to the wrist. There's no more room to put your hand down in the actual glove. And then it's a cross-function cinch, so it also allows for that tight custom fit to be exactly how the fighter wants around their wrist and provides some wrist support.
So that's something that I found really interesting as well, because that like cross cinch wrist versus the like hook and loop that you saw on the previous gloves, it would allow, like, when people would crook their wrist, you'd have space for their opponent to get in there with their fingers. You've seen Charles Oliveira attack arm bars doing that. A bunch of fighters, they cheat in certain ways by getting their finger in a glove. Dustin did it pretty Charles did it pretty blatantly when he fought Dustin. And it's just it's a design flaw in the glove where you have like 2 inches of wrist space right here to where somebody could like hook the inside of the glove and attack an arm bar, or use it to keep somebody from attacking a guard pass, anything like that, and keep someone stalled in the same position. Also, you've seen people defending rear naked chokes where they get a finger in there, and that makes it harder for somebody to get a choke as opposed to actually defending the choke. They're just hooking the glove. And sorry guys, a little sleepy today. But and then also the lacerations that she mentioned, saying that stitches on the outside of the glove would allow for cuts, which another good thing. You know, you don't want to see fights get stopped for eye pokes, gloves causing cuts. Kind of dumb to think about that, but
the finger holes used to be cut straight across the finger. We've now cut that down at an angle so that there's no bulk under the finger, which is allowing you to close your hands and not fight against the leather in the hand. Cool feature of the new glove is that the primary glove has gone from black to gunmetal metallic color, and then we have broken that out into multiple colors depending on what we're using it for. The gunmetal, that is the primary that will be in the it for.
These are kind of sick for the most part. I mean, you have the gold with the octagon print right here. That's going to be for championship fights. I kind of wish that they would have done black with the UFC in gold. Like if they would have just reversed the colorways, it would have been cool. I think these are going to grow on me. They're already growing on me quite a bit more than they did yesterday. When I first saw these, I was watching MMA Fighting's live stream, like while they were setting up the presentation, and it looked like dog shit. I was like, these look cheap, they look fake. But here you have the gold, that's for the championship fights, which is cool, I guess. It's just different. And then you have the regular gloves that are gunmetal now, which is fine also. And then you also have the tough gloves, but they're already recording tough right now, so I don't think they're going to be using them this season. So it'll be close to a year before, maybe even over a year, until we see these Ultimate Fighter gloves actually in use. And then you have the blue Dana White Contender Series gloves. Those are probably the coolest ones, the blue gloves, to be honest. And then sorry guys, allergies today. And then the red gloves are going to be for like Road to the UFC / miscellaneous, so I don't really know what they're doing for that. But these are pretty sick overall. The gold ones are kind of cheap to me, but they're going to grow on me, like I said. And then also something to point out here is this. this second layer of padding here. So there's more padding on the wrist and around the sides. And then also with the gloves having this foam that pushes the hand down more. I hope it'll fix eye pokes, because this is like the #1 thing that's the problem with the gloves. You had eye poke. I mean, I remember Justin Tafa, Austin Lane ended with an eye poke. Chris Weidman literally just got a eye poke TKO, which is pretty fucking crazy that they let somebody get away with that. Should have been a no contest. But this is something that needs to be fixed.
The primary that will be in the octagon for all fights except for championship rounds. And in championship rounds, there's a brand new gold glove. That gold glove.
This is what I was talking about earlier. She's saying championship rounds. Like, she doesn't even know. This lady doesn't even know fights. Like, she doesn't even know what she's talking about. And then also, they did this fucking video package. Like, this is this is expensive, and they worked on it for a while. They heard this lady say championship rounds, and they couldn't have done like another take. They couldn't have done like an edit or a reshoot for that one line. Because it literally, you'll see after the presentation that Brennan Fitzgerald had to go and fix or correct what she said like right away. Like, come on, this lady's heading up the glove department or whatever, and she doesn't even know what she's talking about. She makes it sound like they're gonna take off the black gloves and put the gold ones on for rounds 4 and 5.
Glove has a slight octagon pattern in it, and so elevated and premium for the championship rounds. There's also a tough glove, a Dana White Contender Series glove, and then
the Dana White Contender Series gloves are
tough
crazy
glove,
though, not gonna lie.
A Dana White Contender Series.
Those are sick. Like the bubblegum blue kinda, not quite baby blue, not quite like royal blue. Those are fucking sick.
Series glove, and then a red glove for things like Road to UFC. What we wanted to do with this was create a journey for the athlete. So you might start in the red glove, you might start in the Contender Series glove, but until you make it to the UFC, you're not wearing the UFC glove. As subtle as it may seem to some, there is a lot that has changed in this glove to improve it for the athletes and make it more comfortable function for them. So really, really excited about this.
All right, so there's that. And I mean, let me know what you guys think in the chat, in the comments down below. But new gloves, as long as they fix eye pokes, are going to be sick. I mean, Chris Weidman should have already had a loss or a disqualification or a no contest, but John Jones's undefeated record is at serious risk after seeing this video. I mean, because if you watch John Jones, he walks at his opponents with his hand out like this and doesn't get warnings. But that's just biased UFC reffing. It's the same way that when there's shots to the back of the head or fingers in the glove, that if you're just like some random prelim fighter, that those you'll get warnings or points taken for those. But if you're Charles Oliveira, John Jones, people that actually have some clout that the fans really fuck with, then they just get away with it. They don't get warnings. I mean, if you go back and watch the main event of UFC 269, I think it was Oliveira and Poirier, Dustin tries to get up and leave Oliveira's guard, and Oliveira's hand being in Dustin's glove literally like drags Oliveira like a couple feet on the mat because he had his fingers hooked in the glove. So there's something that's, worth pointing out. Think about this type of thing when you're watching fights, and think about the reffing, because it's the same thing with like judging. The fights that go towards, or the controversial decisions always go towards the fan favorite, the one that the UFC really wants to win, like Patty, or John Jones against Dominic Reyes, John Jones against Gustafsson, John Jones against Thiago Santos. Like, those were controversial wins, but you're not going to see anybody that's an unknown fighter, prelim fighter, anything like that get like the benefit of the doubt on the prelims, you know, or on fouls, split decisions, anything like that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. It looks like UFC 302 is going to be the debut of those new gloves. Hopefully they bring these eye pokes down. But here's what I'm really interested in talking about is UFC 300. Enough about the new gloves. They're not going to be in use for 2 more months. Let's talk about 300. We're an hour and 13 minutes away, whatever we are, from the biggest card in history. So first thing I want to talk about was the UFC 300 press conference, because there was it was a lame press conference overall. The packaging of it was pretty sick. You had the intro video with the curtain drop at the start of the press conference. That was cool. And then, like, you know, instead of them having everybody walk up and announcing them one by one, just the curtain drop with everybody already on stage was pretty sick. But aside from that, kind of a bummer, not gonna lie. The only person that was genuinely entertaining was Jamahal Hill. He's the only person that had an actual line, you know, I'm on your ass, ain't nothing to talk about, whatever it was. Everybody else was like, so honored to be on this event, can't wait till Saturday night, all that type of stuff. So the only person that provided any actual entertainment value was Jamahal Hill on that press conference. Dana got bullied into $300,000 bonuses. So, and that's something I'll get back around to later, because I saw Luke Thomas, let me pull it up. Luke Thomas tweeted about this 300K tweet thing, or he tweeted about this 300K. Luke Thomas, where's he at? Here we go. Or he might have done it on Threads, but let me see. Let me see. Let's see. Just a sec, guys. Gotta find this. Maybe it's on his Threads. One sec. Yeah, here it is right here. So Luke Thomas says, the 300K bonuses are cool, but I noted on Twitter this is adding $1 million to payroll. That's not nothing, but it's not like they're splitting the gate 50-50 or something substantive where there's really a sharing of wealth. In those cases, the pay would be significantly higher. People have lost their minds. I have to stop talking about fighter pay at this point. The entire industry, fighters, fans, media, promoters, sponsors, all like pay the way it is. Time to move on. And he's not necessarily wrong about that, because this fighter pay discussion has been going on for so fucking long. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Nothing has changed. And it just is what it is. Until somebody like not Dana or Hunter Campbell is running the UFC, the fighter pay is not going to change. And, you know, something to consider as well is, like, maybe it shouldn't change right now. I mean, it's not like the NBA or the NFL or MLB where there's a 50-50 revenue split between the fight or the player's pay and the owner's revenue taken home at the end of the day. But the UFC is paying more than anybody else. So I'm not saying fighters shouldn't get paid more, but if they were to go to PFL, they'd be making 12 and 12 with the chance at $1 million. But the top of the line people like Izzy, Charles Oliveira, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje, Alex Pereira, if they were to stay somewhere else and not be in the UFC, they wouldn't get paid anywhere near close to what they're getting paid. For a mid-level fighter like Clay Collard, for example, who's in PFL right now, Impa Kasanganay, who has won the PFL tournament, and he just fought last night, actually. Those guys that would be making, at most, 40K in the UFC, people like that should go to these other promotions. But as a whole, the pay is almost a wash in a ways, because they will make the same as a UFC prelim fighter or Apex card, main card fighter as they would being on these PFL cards, but the top end would be severely limited if they weren't in the PFL or if they weren't in the UFC. But anyways, back to the 300K thing. Yeah, Dana for sure got bullied into that. He was thinking probably going to give out a bunch of $50,000 bonuses, like 50K bonus for everybody with a finish or everybody with a win. He's done that before, or he's upped the bonuses to 75K. Tony Ferguson kind of pushed him into that. I can't remember what. I think when he fought Michael Chandler, I think it was in the same press conference as the Dana White privilege comment. But aside from that, Mark Coleman doing the BMF belt, that is pretty sick. I watched him on Helwani's show yesterday. That story's insane, talking about his parents and, you know, his dog ended up dying in there, which is, you know, sucks. But that story's insane. And for him to be, you know, a UFC OG and go through the, like, addiction side of his life, and then to come out on the other end, get past his addiction, and then have to go through this, definitely a apt person to be doing the BMF belt wrap. So, and then aside from that, the press conference questions were terrible as always. Somebody asked about fucking WrestleMania, which is a bummer. We're on the biggest UFC event of all time, and you have these low IQ journalists asking about WrestleMania. What did Dana think about WrestleMania? Like, do you really think Dana watched that shit? Like, the only thing Dana's watching is the value of his shares in the TKO Holdings Group. Dana's not actually watching WWE. Like, not a shot. So, and then, what was the other dumbass question, too? Oh, yeah, these fighters, these reporters, they ask paragraph-long questions. And I see people do this when they interview fighters on, like, the virtual interviews as well. They go, so you fought this long ago, and it went like this, and you looked like this, you did this to get the win. How did you feel when it was over? So give me your thoughts on that. And you don't even really know what they were asking. Like, you have these reporters that are asking 5-sentence questions and then just saying, give me your thoughts on that, or tell us about that. When it's dumb, dude. It's not like, if I was on there, if I was out there, like, you know, I'd ask Merab if he was on EPO. I'd ask Jamahal Hill why he put on so much weight before getting injured. I'd ask Max Holloway if he's ever going to go back to 45 and what it would take. Let me see who else is on there. Kayla Harrison, I'd ask her how terrible the weight cut's going, because she used to fight at 155. I'd ask Alex Pereira if he's, you know, worried about his chin against somebody that hits as hard as Jamahal Hill. But no, these guys go, hey Dana, when are we going to see you back in Iowa? And shit like that, which nobody cares about. But Jamahal Hill was entertaining. He actually brought some entertainment value to the press conference. Everybody else was like, I'm honored to be here. We'll see on Saturday. We're gonna find out. And everybody had weight cut voice as well, which sucks to see. I wish they just did same day weigh-ins. I've done videos about the weight class thing and the weight cutting. I wish they would just do same day weigh-ins and everybody would move up a weight class. But It is what it is. I'm not going to get my way on that. And then one other thing from the press conference was Joaquin Buckley trying to vie for a main event slot. Let me see if I can get that up. Joaquin Buckley trying to get a main event slot next month. May 11th is in St. Louis, which is his hometown. And I really doubt he's going to get his way on that because they already announced Derek Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento against, and it's bullshit because Derek Lewis doesn't even want to be in main events, but he keeps signing to do them because they're trying to squeeze every main event out of Derek Lewis that they can before he retires. But let me see. Let me find this Joaquin Buckley question. Here we go. Here we go.
One more question, Danny. What's the word? I ain't seen you in a minute. New best in the building. It's gotta be good. You know? Hey, look, the whole crowd done told me, man, look, y'all coming back to St. Louis. Everybody know the main event. Derek Lewis. Hey, we love Derek Lewis. But you don't want to fight 5 rounds, Dana? Come on. Switch it up, man, to give your boy New Mansa the main event in St. Louis in his hometown, baby. Let's go. Thanks for coming hot today, you guys. We'll see you at the weigh-in.
Yeah, so Dana just completely fucking ignores him, and then Buckley runs away. But shout out to Joaquin Buckley. He seems cool. He actually fought one of my teammates at one point, and when he was at 185, and him at 170 could be a problem. I was saying that Kevin Holland's a problem at 170. But after seeing Kevin Holland against MVP, I'm ready to let the ship sail on Kevin Holland being an elite welterweight. I was saying Kevin Holland had world title chances at 170, but then seeing him against like 38-year-old Michael Venom Page and just quitting when he gets frustrated, I'm kind of past that. But Joaquin Buckley, however, this guy seems like he actually is more committed to it. He cares about winning, not just getting paid. And he's putting on more of a show. He's really actually trying. Like, that was funny. It was cool to see him, even though Dana just totally brushed him off, but to see him go and at least try. Because a lot of these fighters are just going to wilt to whatever. They go, oh, fuck. They already announced the main event for St. Louis. Maybe I can get on the main card. But, you know, he goes and he runs the risk of getting totally ignored by Dana like he just did. For the sake of, you know, giving the fans what they want, I'd much rather see Joaquin Buckley get a main card slot or a main event slot. Let me take a look at that UFC St. Louis card. Let me look at the UFC rankings. Who could he fight in the main event of that card? Let's see. So he's ranked 11th. So Kevin Holland rematch could be a possibility because they fought at 185. He just beat Luque. Michael Venom Page is probably going to fight in London at the end of the year. Or not the end of the year, I'm sorry, in July. And then, let me see, Neil Magny is a possibility. He would smoke Neil Magny. Jeff Neal, good idea. Wonder Boy, I think, is going to fight MVP in London or Manchester in July. Sean Brady could be a good matchup, but Sean Brady's, that's not really an exciting main event. Ian Gary's going to fight Colby. Gilbert Burns is going to be out. I could see him fighting like Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, or Gilbert Burns, but I actually want to see Buckley versus Jeff Neal in a St. Louis main event. That'd be pretty sick. And I wish they'd do that. That's going to be way better than watching Derek Lewis get laid on for 25 minutes and not care about getting up. But we're not going to get our way there, are we? And then to the official weigh-ins, totally shocked that Kayla Harrison made weight, but with the bonuses being 300K, you know, everybody's making weight. It was a 42-minute weigh-in, and they get 2 hours. So with bonuses being 300K, and here's the thing, guys, and you might not know this, if you miss weight, you're ineligible for any bonuses, fight of the night, performance bonus, anything like that. So $300,000 bonus, nobody's missing weight on that. Everybody's 40 minutes. Everybody was in and out. Nobody had to try twice. Just straight in and out, 40-minute win. Kayla Harrison competed in judo at like 170, 168, something like that, and then fought at 155 and 45. And look, I don't know how she made this weight, but I just hope she's not too drained against Holly Holm, because I don't want that fight to be ruined for the sake of her making this weight class. Because if Amanda Nunes wouldn't have retired this, she would have gotten a title shot at 145, and it could have been on 300. We could have gotten another title fight on 300. But anyways, Gaethje looked like absolute shit. He looked like he was dying. Actually, Gaethje looked like shit at the ceremonial weigh-ins too. He looked like he hadn't rehydrated yet. Whereas Holloway looked absolutely terrible on the scale, on the official scale, and then at the ceremonial weigh-ins, he looked like he had gotten that water back. So aside from that, Arman didn't look bad. He usually cuts a lot of weight. Oliveira looked really good, especially he cuts a gang of weight. Pereira was the last one on the scale. I don't know. I'm not going to put too much weight into that. Jamahal Hill looks like he doesn't cut any weight, by the way. He looked the exact same. The only thing that was different was he didn't have a tummy. And who else? No, I think everybody else was fine. I don't think there's any crazy weight bullies that are... Oh, Jalin Turner. He looks shitty on the scale too, because he dies trying to make weight. He's a weight bully. He sucked at 170, didn't have a chin at 170, and so he goes and wants to have the confidence and size advantage being like a 6'3" lightweight. So he just kills himself during fight week to make that weight so that he can have that advantage. But, you know, you heard it in his voice. You heard it in a few people's voices. They had weight cut voice during the press conference. And then couple things that I noticed is that Holly Holm is bigger than I thought. I thought that Kayla Harrison was going to be way bigger than her given the weight classes that she's fought in the past, but I assume it's like a bulkiness difference because Holly Holm was a lot taller than Kayla Harrison. And then, it looked like Arman was a little bit bothered by the boos at the press conference, and then he did try to get in Oliveira's face at the ceremonial weigh-ins. So maybe this big card against the biggest star in the lightweight division right now, maybe that moment is getting to him a little bit. I could see Arman being a little too emotional, coming out too fast, and getting caught by that Oliveira left hook. But I'll get to the fight stuff in a sec. And then, what are my other notes here? I picked Pereira for this card. I still think that that's going to be I still am sticking with Pereira, but something to notice is that Jamahal Hill is not intimidated by Alex Pereira at all. People like Israel Adesanya, Izzy was putting on like he wasn't intimidated, even though he had been KO'd by him twice. Yuri, I think him and Pereira were both afraid of each other a little bit. But Jamahal Hill is ready for this moment. Jamahal Hill is not going to fold under pressure. I think that if anything, his body is going to fold before him mentally, because the torn Achilles, he was super out of shape when he tore the Achilles. I think that they were targeting this fight for 301, which is in 3 weeks. So maybe even the return timetable was not great for him as well. But I think that if anything, it's going to be his chin or his leg given out before his actual mental toughness, because he took the fight against Glover on like a month's notice and looked really good made weight, won a belt, and beat the shit out of Glover for the whole 25 minutes. And then he's... We got an oi in the chat. What's up, Felipe? But I think that Jamahal Hill is here for the moment. For some reason, you know, he's never been in a spot like this. He's never been on a huge main event in a pay-per-view, and he's got balls of steel. It seems like you got Alex Pereira headlined at Madison Square Garden against Izzy. He headlined in Miami in a big card against Izzy again, and then he headlined against Yuri in Madison Square Garden, and now he's at 300. So like this moment is nothing new to Pereira, this big moment. But for Jamahal, in Brazil, I guess enemy territory against Glover, but never been on a card of this magnitude, especially as the main event. And he looks confident. He doesn't look afraid of the moment. He doesn't look afraid or intimidated by Alex Pereira. And I did get I'm still picking Pereira, but after seeing Jamahal Hill the last 2 days, I'm definitely a lot less confident in that pick. So let me know what you guys think. You think Jamahal Hill gets it done? And then last thing I'm gonna talk to you guys, we got the card in about 50 minutes. I'm gonna run through the card top to bottom with you guys. We're gonna do a breakdown on the fights and you know, see if I have any last minute changes. Let me get this pulled up for you guys. So we are gonna start with Deiveson Figueiredo, Cody Garbrandt. I picked Deiveson Figueiredo by KO to win this, and I think I'm still gonna stick with that. I'm still gonna stick with that pick. I think that Deiveson Figueiredo is Deiveson Figueiredo is much more of a forward fighter, very aggressive. Cody Garbrandt is much more of a back foot counter puncher with the hooks up against the fence, like the way that he knocked out Rafael Assunção, and the same way that he, like when he became champ against Dominic Cruz, he baited Dominic Cruz into exchanges and landed big counter shots on him. But Deiveson Figueiredo hits really hard for 125, and now he's at 135. Less weight cutting for him, so the chin should be even better. I could see Cody catching him, but I made that video, guys. Cody Garbrandt's career is on the line today. Not saying he's gonna retire, because let me see, somebody in my comments was saying that was a dumbass take for saying that Cody Garbrandt's career is on the line. But really what's gonna happen is if Cody gets KO'd again, they have to let him go, or he's gonna go down the Tony Ferguson path and they're gonna use him to build big names. They used him to build Kai Kara France before Kai Kara France got a title shot against Brandon Moreno. But Cody Garbrandt's career this is like a fork in the road for Cody Garbrandt, because he loses and, you know, it's like BKFC or being used to build prospects for him. Or he gets this win here, Figueiredo's ranked 8th, and he's one win from a title shot. He'll get a Cody Garbrandt versus Peter Yan would be a sick fight. So if Cody Garbrandt wins, or Cody Garbrandt against, who else is in the top 5? Who else is in the top 5? If Cody Garbrandt gets a win today, let's see, because he'd be ranked 8th, and Cody Garbrandt's he has fans, and they're not gonna just have him fight like Mario Bautista or something, or Kyler Phillips. If let's see these rankings here. Let me get out of the way of them. Let me move myself real quick. Like here you see in these, if Cody Garbrandt wins, he's gonna be ranked 8th right here. And then he's not going to fight Rob Font. He's not going to fight anybody below him. I could see a Dominic Cruz rematch. That'd be like a fight night main event. Cool throwback fight. But if he wins here, he could fight Song Yadong. That would be sick. Henry Cejudo would be a good fight because Henry Cejudo doesn't really hit hard like that. If Cody wins today, it's going to be Peter Yan or Cejudo. I think that's what the UFC would do if he was to win today. Like a top 5 guy, top 6 title fight. Aljo's going to be out of the 35 rankings after today because I think he's going to win. And then in regards to the rest of the card, let me see. Yeah, so if Cody wins, it could be a very interesting, like, one fight from fighting Sean O'Malley, but Cody Garbrandt against Sean O'Malley is a tough fight for Cody. Cody gets chinned up in that one for sure. Way shorter, like 6 foot Sean O'Malley against like 5'5" Cody Garbrandt with a questionable chin. It's a rough one. That's a rough one. But I'm still gonna stick with Deiveson Figueiredo. I think that he's gonna back Cody up against the cage. Cody's gonna get chinned, and we're gonna get a first round TKO or KO from Deiveson Figueiredo, even though my heart wants Cody to win. I really do want Cody to win. And yeah, I'm going to stick with that. From there, we got Bobby Green, Jim Miller. I didn't do a prediction video on this one, but I think that Jim Miller is going to be throwing the low kick early, maybe get a takedown. And I think that it's going to be Jim Miller by KO. And I say that because after the super late stoppage while Bobby Green was dead against Jalin Turner, the referee, Kerry Hatley, let him take 15 completely unanswered shots while he was face down, unconscious, twitching. So I think that's like a career-changing chinning. It's not like, you know, you got clipped, you went down, ref jumped in. You got rocked, and then you went out at least twice. And weight bully Jalin Turner, who's probably 180 pounds in the cage on fight night, just blasting the back of your head, and it was back of the head shots too, while you're twitching unconscious. That changes you. You're 40 years old. What's Bobby Green? 40 years old? Let's see. 37 years old, and coming off of that fight, I think Jim Miller's gonna open him up with the low kicks. He's gonna slow down Bobby Green. Bobby Green's got that awkward in and out, side to side movement, throws at all angles. Not really a rhythm in his striking. Hands down, throws from his hips. Doesn't check kicks. I think that Jim Miller is going to open him up with the leg kicks, which is going to slow him down. And then it's going to open up Bobby Green for a big shot. I think Jim Miller's going to KO him with a 1-2 and be a ranked lightweight. 43-year-old? Is that how old he is? 43-year-old Jim Miller? 40-year-old, okay. 40-year-old Jim Miller going to be ranked. And then they'll use him to they'll do him dirty and use him to build up somebody else. Jim Miller versus Patty, maybe. But, and then after that, you got Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. Jéssica Andrade is a former champ, but I swear she sucks. She's 25-12. Marina Rodriguez is 17-3. I think that Jéssica Andrade knows that she can knock people out, especially at 115 this fight's at. She's actually one of the few people with KO power for 115 pounds. But I think that what's going to happen is she's going to be thirsty for a $300,000 bonus. She's going to be thirsty she knows these fighters have social media. Most of them actually read comments, and they're sensitive as fuck. Like these fighters read comments. She knows that people don't want her on this card. She knows that people are looking at her fight like a bathroom break. She wants to have an exciting moment on the card. She's got KO power. And I think that Marina Rodriguez is going to be patient and take advantage of Jéssica Andrade's need and want for excitement in her fights, and just take advantage of how dumb Andrade fights. We saw Xiaonan knock out Jéssica Andrade to get this title fight against Weili, and Andrade was just like throwing 3-4 hooks with the same hand in a row. She's like running in, throwing hook after hook after hook, and then she gets chinned. And I think Marina Rodriguez, being taller, is just gonna put her in the clinch, put her in the clinch and beat her up there. Andrade is gonna get impatient and frustrated, and she's gonna come in and she's gonna get clipped with something on the way in, the same way that Xiaonan did to her. And then up from there, we got Jalin Turner and Renato Moicano. And from a size standpoint, when you saw him face off at the weigh-ins yesterday, Jalin Turner is fucking huge, but he cuts such an insane amount of weight to make 55 at 6'3", and he tires out. He broke Dan Hooker's arm in the first round. He broke Dan Hooker's arm in the first round and gassed out and still lost. And Moicano just fought Drew Dober. Let me see. He just fought Drew Dober like a month ago. February 13th. So he fought he fought just over 2 months ago. So he's active. Jalin Turner has been out since December. And this fight was on like 6 weeks notice. Moicano doesn't walk around as heavy. He's been active. If this was Moicano being out since 2022 like he was against Drew Dober, I would pick Jalin Turner just from like a rustiness standpoint, ring rust. But I think Jalin Turner is going to win the first round. Jalin Turner is going to win the first round, gas, and get submitted in the second by Renato Moicano. And I think this one has got potential bonus written all over it. I don't think anybody is going to pass up Holloway Gaethje for fight of the night, though. Just saying. And then up from there, we got Diego Lopes and Sodiq Yussuf. Sodiq Yussuf is solid, but Diego Lopes has a very fan-friendly style. And he comes out guns blazing. And the UFC rewards that fight style much more than like the Merab fight style, like 50 takedowns, 35 of them get failed. You hold Peter Yan up against the fence for most of the fight and stall. But not saying that Merab's not good, it's just not a fan-friendly style most of the time. Diego Lopes has the fight style that the UFC encourages. I think Diego Lopes is going to come out guns blazing and get a first round sub. Like, come out, shoot a takedown, go straight to the back, get Diego Lopes' back, or get Sodiq Yussuf's back, rear naked choke, round one, Diego Lopes. That's what I'm thinking. And up from there, we got Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison, and I think this fight's going to be super boring. I think that Kayla Harrison's going to be way stronger than Holly Holm, and that she's going to lay on her for 3 rounds, 3-round decision. I could see a TKO given that Holly Holm, or that Kayla Harrison can throw elbows, which she wasn't allowed to do in PFL. But I think that Kayla Harrison's going to have a boring 3-round decision. Aljamain Sterling looks giant at 145. He's got for sure going to have more energy and a better chin, not having to cut that extra 10 pounds. Calvin Kattar hasn't fought since like October of 22, I think. And he's coming off of 2 knee surgeries. I think Aljo is going to ragdoll Calvin Kattar, get him down, and sub him first or second round. So and then Aljo is going to be a top 8, whatever he's going to be at bantam or at featherweight. And let's see who Aljo would fight, given. Let's see who Aljo would fight, given the matchups at 145. So at 145, oh, you guys can't see that, one sec. At 145 here, we got, so Aljo wins, he's gonna be at 8. So I could see him against Movsar in a grappling heavy matchup. Or I could see him against Brian Ortega. That's a sick fight. I think if Aljo wins that, he's 1 win from a title shot. And so I think Aljo against like a heavy grappler like Movsar or Brian Ortega. Actually, fuck it, give him Movsar because the UFC doesn't like Aljo and they don't like Movsar. So just, you know, from the UFC standpoint, have them fight each other and eliminate the other one from title contention. That's what they'll do. Aljo versus Movsar. That's what I think would be the best decision for the UFC at least, if he wins today, which I think he will. I think Aljo's going to win today. And then we got up from there, we got the last prelim, Jiří Procházka and Aleksandar Rakić. My heart wants Jiří to win this. I want Jiří to be back in the title picture. I really like Jiří. And then for Jiří and Rakić, here's the thing. I want Aljo. I want Jiří to win this fight because he's more entertaining, more of a personality than Rakić. But I just keep having this vision of Alex Pereira putting Jiří on his butt with low kicks in their fight, and Jiří just not checking kicks. He's so heavy on the front foot, and he feels things out with his head, where he like heavy on the front foot to draw a punch, pulls back. And I think that, let me see. And so I think that Rakić is going to go out there, play it safe. He's not going to be overly aggressive. He's coming off of an injury. He's not going to come out, you know, guns blazing. That's not even his style in the first place. That's not how Rakić fights. And I think Rakić is going to go out there and try to jab and low kick him for 3 rounds and get a very boring decision win. But for Jiří, for his path to victory is not by decision, it's not by wrestling, it's not by outpointing, it's by landing something out of the blue that is unexpected from Rakić, would KO Rakić. That's Jiří's path to victory, in my opinion. I don't think that Jiří has a skill advantage in this fight, but he does have a power advantage, and he does have the awkwardness advantage where Rakić is very in rhythm, has a pace that he likes to fight at. And I think that Rakić, that's my pick, is Rakić is going to win by decision with low kicks. But if Jiří does win, it's going to be some crazy bonus-worthy KO. Now, up from there, we have the main card opener that should have been on the prelims. I've made videos about this. I've made like 3 fucking videos about Bo Nickal not supposed to be on this main card, or shouldn't be on this main card. And Bo Nickal he's gonna make it easy work. It'd be fucking hilarious if Cody Brundage KOs him and won. But Bo Nickal is gonna go out there, try to impress. He knows that people don't think he should be on this card, or on the main card at least. And he is going to go out there, try to make an impression, and really he's going to try to prove or like justify his spot here. I could see him going out there and trying to get a KO on the feet. But I think that given that he's going up against somebody that has a wrestling background as well in Cody Brundage, I think he's going to be like, look how good I am at this. And he's going to go double leg early and try to submit him in the first round. That's how I see this fight going. But I could also see Cody Brundage being like, these people, they're making fun of me, saying I'm trash. I know I shouldn't be on the 300 main card. Let me knock out the guy that's the reason I'm even on this card. But with that said, uncompetitive fight is what I see. Early domination from Bo Nickal. And then up from there, we got Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan, and I think that even though Arman is the favorite, I think that Charles is the underdog to go with on this card. I don't, enough of this like Cody Brundage is a plus 1,000 underdog. Let me throw $100 at it. Charles Oliveira is an underdog on this card. His skill set matches up well with Arman. Arman Tsarukyan, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, it seems like the moment is big for him. Big main card against a big star in the lightweight division. I think this moment is going to get to him. I think Charles Oliveira, it's going to be a crazy round one, is what I think. I think it's going to be a back and forth round one, the same way when Charles fought Justin Gaethje. Arman's going to land something. It's going to hurt Oliveira. Oliveira is going to give us a moment of fear. We're like, oh shit, Charles is going to get finished. Charles is going to get up. Charles is going to pressure Arman Tsarukyan into an exchange. Charles is going to land that left hook that he landed on Michael Chandler and other people. He's going to drop Arman. Arman's going to try to get up. In a scramble, Charles Oliveira is going to get his back, and Charles Oliveira is going to get a rear naked choke after taking his back during a scramble. That's how I think it's going to go down. That's how I see it happening. Pressure, pressure, pressure from Charles Oliveira. Big shot back from Arman. Charles Oliveira makes the fight crazy. In an exchange, left hook, drops Arman. Charles follows him down to the ground, tries to create a scramble. Arman tries to create a scramble to get back up, tries to employ his wrestling. Charles gets his back, rear naked choke, round one. Charles Oliveira, lightweight #1 contender. But if Arman was to win this, I think it's the same way that Islam beat Charles, where Arman drops Charles. Arman follows him down, not afraid to wrestle or grapple with Charles Oliveira, especially on top. Arm triangle or pound him out TKO. But with Arman being the favorite in this, let me see these odds. Let me see what these odds are. Because I think that Charles Oliveira is the guy that, if you were betting on this card, that's who I would put. Let me see. I'm just going to DraftKings, guys. One sec. So, like here, for example, the biggest underdog on the card is Cody Brundage. But I wouldn't put money on him. That's going to be a waste of your... You're throwing your money away if you bet on this. Let me go through the card odds real quick. Cody Garbrandt as a plus 270. Maybe put your money on that. Jim Miller, maybe. Moicano, maybe. But here... Oliveira plus 185. That's the underdog that I'm like most confident in winning this on this card. Given the style matchups, I think that Arman Tsarukyan is going to be overly aggressive. Charles Oliveira has the skill set to win a fight like this. If you want an underdog to bet on this card, it's Charles Oliveira, in my opinion. And because Arman has got the wrestling. We've seen Charles Oliveira guillotine, Kevin Lee when they fought on a takedown attempt. I could see that happening. Arman Tsarukyan tries to close the distance to make up for the reach disadvantage on Oliveira. Oliveira's nasty in the clinch. I could see that happening. Oliveira with the elbows and knees in the clinch. But like I said, left hook drops Arman. Charles Oliveira grabs the back during a scramble, rear naked choke, round one. That's what I think is going to happen. The BMF title fight, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. I think that Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway are going to be smart in round one. Gaethje is going to jab his way to a round one and possibly round two win, or winning those rounds. And then But Max Holloway is slowly going to build momentum like he does. He did it against Yair. He did it against Calvin Kattar. He's not one of those guys that comes out like a car crash like Oliveira does. Oliveira comes out at 100 miles an hour and just 0 to 60 immediately puts the pressure on you. And that's how Oliveira gets these crazy finishes. He lures people into a crazy fight immediately. Whereas Max Holloway slowly builds momentum. He inches in over the course of the fight. Jab, 1-2. Jab to the body. Jab to the head, cross to the body. Hook, hook, back you up to the fence. 5-piece combo. You know, things like that. It's not just Charles Oliveira comes at you, knee, overhand right, drop you, take your back, or left hook, drop you, or submit you on a guillotine attempt when you're going for a takedown. Max Holloway is the guy that allows his opponent to build confidence throughout the course of the fight. Justin Gaethje is going to be landing the jab. Justin Gaethje is going to throw a couple of low kicks. He's going to be like, okay, maybe I can coast to this 5-round decision. Max Holloway is going to build momentum from round 1. He might drop round 1. He might drop round 2. But he's going to be building that momentum as the fight goes on. You know, boxing to the body, boxing to the head. Gaethje's getting tired. Round 3 comes around. Gaethje's up 2-0, but he is gassed. He's taking a lot of shots to the body. Max Holloway starts to build the momentum in round 3. Justin Gaethje's going to land a big shot in round 1 or 2. Max Holloway's chin is going to hold up. Max Holloway, round 3, round 4, he's going to start turning up the heat just a little bit at a time. Round 4 comes, Max Holloway is going to be putting the pressure on him. He's going to do the same thing that he did to Brian Ortega and Calvin Kattar. He's going to be like, come on, come on. He's going to lure Justin Gaethje into an exchange. Justin Gaethje is going to get clipped. Justin Gaethje is going to be hurt, and not in the way that Michael Chandler did it, because Michael Chandler has an extra chromosome when it comes to fight IQ. He rocked Gaethje, and he just goes, yeah, I'm going to throw overhands and shoot a takedown. And that bailed Justin Gaethje out. He lands a big shot on Justin Gaethje and bails him out. He does it to everybody. Max Holloway is going to land a big shot, sting Justin Gaethje, have him backed up against the fence, and unload these like 10-piece combos that Max Holloway throws, where he's not throwing at 100%, he's throwing at like 70%, and he's going, you know, head, body, back and forth. Justin Gaethje's going to be hurt up against the fence. Ref's going to step in, and standing TKO round 3 or 4 for Max Holloway is what I think is going to happen. Weili versus Yan Xiaonan, sorry. And I think this is going to be a masterclass from Weili. I think Yan Xiaonan is in a good spot with the reach and size advantage, but Weili has no holes in her game. She got head kicked by Rose. That was the only weakness we've seen from her. She's going to go out there, and it might be a decision, but I think Weili is going to mix the grappling and the striking well. Masterclass. Show us why she's the best in the world. She should be fighting for a second belt at 125. Excuse me. She should be fighting for a second belt at 125. But really, they're going to save Grasso and Shevchenko for the Sphere in September. Manon Fiorot is going to be the backup fighter for that and then fight the winner. So Weili's going to stay down at 15 and dominate for some time before 125 becomes an option for her. But Weili's the best female fighter in the world. She smokes everyone at 115. I think she smokes most of the people at 125, even with her being smaller. And so I think that we're going to get a Weili masterclass and maybe a ground and pound TKO, something like that. But Weili's going to win this fight. That's one of the more confident picks that I have on this card. And then for the main event, Jamahal Hill, Alex Pereira. I think this fight is under 2 rounds. Somebody's going to sleep in less than 10 minutes is what I think. And so the things that are in Alex Pereira's favor, He's been in this moment before. Like I said, headlined Miami. He headlined Madison Square Garden twice. This UFC 300 slot is nothing new for him. This is another big moment for him. He's got the size advantage. He's got the reach advantage. I think that he could eat up Jamahal Hill with low kicks, lure Jamahal Hill in, put him on bad legs with the low kicks, and then land that left hook during the exchange. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, where Jamahal Hill is open to this left hook. This is where I gotta make sure my sound's off for this so I don't get claimed, but I'll show you guys in just a sec. Bear with me. I'm just getting it queued up for you. One sec, these fucking ads. All right. I'm just finding it, hold on. Hold on, I got it now. I got it. One sec. So I can't play the video. Don't want to get claimed, but this right here is where I think Alex Pereira is going to catch Jamahal Hill. So right here, Jamahal Hill, when he throws his 1-2. Now I've said that Alex Pereira is open to the boxing combinations, which could be a problem. Pereira does eat punches with his face at times, but right here, you see Jamahal Hill throws that left hand, or he throws that left hand cross, and he's head forward, leaning into the cross while he throws it, ducking into it while his right hand is down by his hips. Now, Pereira does well backing up. I feel that he can pressure Jamahal Hill into pressuring back, and then this would be the big moment for Alex Pereira, where Jamahal Hill throws this cross with his right hand down at his hips. Pereira, instead of hands up backing away like Glover does, would get clipped with this left hook. And that's where I think Pereira is going to put Jamahal Hill to sleep. I think he throws low kicks early, chews up that front leg, puts Jamahal Hill on bad legs. Jamahal Hill, he's like, oh shit, I need to do something about these. I need to put some pressure back. He comes in overzealous, throws a 1-2, right hand down like that. First or second round, left hook lands right on Jamahal Hill's chin, KO, and still Alex Pereira. But there is a path to victory for Jamahal Hill as well. I do have to say his chin's never been tested, or his chin's never been cracked, I should say. The only loss he has in his career is to Paul Craig, and it was like a technical submission because his arm got broken. I don't even think he tapped against Paul Craig. He just got his arm broken, or his elbow popped out. And then he does have the 1-2 right down the pipe that could land on Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira doesn't have much off-center head movements a lot of the times. He does it to set up his own strikes, where he'll throw cross, lean to the outside, set up the hook. But he doesn't necessarily have a head movement. Most of his defense is like hand backing up a lot of the time, or countering. He just will throw right through it. And that's where I think it could be a problem for Alex Pereira, is that he stays in the pocket looking for the hook, gets clipped by that left cross from Jamahal Hill, and gets knocked out. He got knocked out by Israel Adesanya, who is not known for the biggest punching power, at 85, and that was at 85. This is at 205. Jamahal Hill for sure hits way harder than Izzy Adesanya. So I think it's going to be that exchange that I just showed on screen. Right there, it's Jamahal Hill going for the left cross, and Alex Pereira looking for the left hook. And I think that it's going to be whose chin gets touched in that exchange, because the low kicks are going to be there for Pereira. He's going to chew up Jamal's legs. If they get past the second round and nobody's out yet, like, you know, if this gets into the third round, Jamahal Hill is going to need to employ some wrestling because he's going to be beaten up. The legs are going to be hurt. But I think that this exchange right here, where this is from the Glover fight with Jamal, but this is where the KO sequence is going to get decided. You're going to have Jamahal Hill throwing that left hand, that 1-2, trying to knock out Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is going to throw that backing up left hook and try to KO him. So somebody's going to get KO'd in this one, in my opinion. Someone's going to get KO'd in this sequence right here. It's going to be left hook on Jamal's chin right there, or Pereira cross right on the chin the same way that Izzy knocked him out. And that's the danger for both guys here. If it's going to turn into an absolute shit show if they start grappling. Pereira's going to try a guillotine that doesn't work. Jamahal Hill's going to try to throw up some submission that's stupid as hell. And it'll turn into a real shit show after the second round. But I think somebody gets slept in the first two. And I'm still going to stick with my picks that I've made. I don't have any last minute changes for you. The card starts in about 15 minutes. The last thing that I'm going to do is pull up the votes that you guys gave me throughout this card. I'm going to go through, this is what you guys voted on, and I'm going to see how your guys' votes stack up to what I had to say about it. So we got 50-50 on Andrade Rodriguez. I'm going with Rodriguez. So toss up on that one. We have 50-50, 51-49 in favor of Kayla Harrison. I am a little confused by that, but it just depends on how drained Kayla Harrison is going into this. I think that she has the strength advantage, the grappling advantage. She could get outstruck on the feet. She could get cooked if she's just gassed from the weight cut. But I do think that Kayla Harrison's going to win. I said that. But this is just what you guys had to say. And then Diego Lopes hugely voted in favor. I think he's going to get a round one sub. And then I also voted on, you know, who you guys think the best custom shorts were. Max Holloway won by quite a bit. Alex Pereira second. I think Weili, I think Weili had the sickest ones. And you guys only voted, 7% of you guys said she had the best ones. And I'll tell you why this is BS. Alex Pereira's looks like Izzy Adesanya should be wearing them. They're garbage. And Max Holloway's are cool, but the red with white would have been cooler. Red with white floral flowers would have been cooler. Justin Gaethje's looks like a pickup truck rear window decal. Those are terrible, and you can hardly even tell a difference. But Weili's looks sick. That looks like a UFC football uniform, like the cardinal and gold. And those are the sickest ones by far. You guys are tripping. But Weili, 89% of you think she's going to win. Huge landslide in favor of Weili. I agree with you there. Landslide in favor of Bo Nickal. I agree with you there. Landslide in favor of Aljo. I feel the same way. 65% of you guys picked Jim Miller over Bobby Green. I agree with you guys there. I think Jim Miller's going to win. We're split 50-50 on Holloway Gaethje. I think that's probably the biggest toss-up for me. I'm most unsure of. 60% of you guys think that Yuri's going to win, and although that's who I want to win, I don't think that's what's going to happen unless he lands something crazy. 63% of you guys picked Jalin Turner. That's an understandable vote. I do think that Moicano is going to win, but I could see Jalin Turner winning in the first round. Oliveira, 80% of you guys voted for Arman Tsarukyan, or voted for Charles Oliveira to beat Arman Tsarukyan. And I know that this is more of the Oliveira fan base riding for their guy, but the fight's closer than that. And then main event, 73% of you guys picked Alex Pereira, which I think he's going to win, but I don't think it's that big of a landslide. And then 70% of you guys picked Deiveson Figueiredo, which is I also agree with. But so that's where we're at, guys. We're about 15 minutes from the biggest card in UFC history. No fight companion today. It's just a card stream to catch you guys up on fight week so far. I'm going to stream again tomorrow, probably around like noon Pacific time, do a recap and reaction to the card. Make sure you guys come back around for that. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Thank you for you that have watched. Thank you for the few of you that participated in the chat. I will see